Alright guys, so here's the review of the Namo GMT. So this isn't just a normal GMT, something a little bit different, not something I've seen before, so hopefully you'll find interesting as well. So I've been trying the watch out for a while, had it in on loan, got to send it back after this or send it to the next reviewer, but just got to change the way I do my reviews, going to keep it 100% honest all the time, no matter what. So this is actually a Microbrand watch. It's inspired by Buddhism and Thailand. So we'll get into that as we get into the review, but enough waffling, let's jump right in and show you what it's all about. So here's the packaging, you'll get it in when you do get one. So I think it's going to be going on Kickstarter, I'm not entirely sure when, so the links to their website will be down in the description, and obviously they'll update on there when they become available, or if they start running on the website. I'm fairly sure it's going to be a Kickstarter. So, pretty nice case, Namo branding, and then we've got this logo they're using. So I'm probably going to butcher how you pronounce this, but I think it's pronounced Lume, which is Buddhist for the pathway to enlightenment. Hopefully I got that right. If you know any better, let me know down in the comments. So, got the watch there. Quickly pop that to one side for a second. I'm guessing you'll be getting warranty card and instructions and all that in here when you do get one. But it is a nice case, suede lined, and you can see we have the buttons there as well. Any other thing I've got in here is the links I've taken out. So you can see they are just push pins. But we'll get all this out of the way and talk about the watch. And here's the actual watch. So you can see, really interesting there. Not something you see all that often with these cities around the outside. So we'll talk about that in a bit. Before we do that though, let's go over the dimensions. So we've got a diameter of 41.5, thickness of 12.2, lug width of 22, and then the all-important lug to lug coming in at 47.8. So not too bad dimensions wise. Before we talk about that dial, let's quickly talk about the case a bit, because it is pretty interesting. So we've got, don't know if this is going to come up properly, let's try zooming in a bit. You can see we've got a signed crown there with that logo again. I'm not going to say it again, don't worry. We've got really nice finishing on the case. It's fully brushed, no polished bits at all. Same with the bracelet. It is really nicely done, rounded off so there's no sharp edges. It does feel really nice. And when it comes to this clasp, we've got that logo on there again, also with the Namo on the fold over. So fold over, double pushers, milled clasp. And you can see we've got plenty of micro just there, so sizing will not be an issue at all. You probably noticed as well, this here. So this is where it gets interesting. When I first got this, I have to admit, I thought you actually turn this in a rotating bezel using that. But then I realised that this actually moves. And when I do, let's see if I can show you this. When I turn that, there you go, you can see that turns as well. Which is not something I've seen before. That's pretty distinctive, pretty unique. If you've seen anything else like this, do let me know down in the comments. I would be really interested to know. And as far as I know, it's actually quite complicated to do. So we've got that inner rotating crown almost, helping with that water resistance, keeping it watertight. Because otherwise you'd need a separate crown, which would have to be screw down. So it's pretty different, pretty unique there, as is having all the cities around the outside. So obviously you've got your GMT hand down here, which you can adjust with this pushball crown. So I turn it that way, you can adjust the hand, put it on whatever time you want. And then obviously you can also rotate this as well. So it's bi-directional, rotates both ways, as you'd expect with the GMT. So say we want to put London where that GMT hand is. So then obviously you can choose different cities depending on where you are in the world. Use the GMT hand and that in conjunction to be able to have two different time zones. So I think it's a really nice way of doing it. Something a little bit different. I do appreciate that a lot. when it comes to the rest of that dial, we've got printed Namo logo and branding just below the 12, GMT just above the 6, and 10 ATM, so 100 meter water resistant. We've actually got applied indices, which have got a nice surround around them as well, which catches the light, matching the hands as well. And you can probably also tell we have actually got quartz movement in this. So the movement in this is a Ronda 515-24. And obviously that is a GMT movement. So since I've kind of shown you in action then, quickly show you the rest of it. So we've got that GMT hand, rotate it the other way, change the date, which is a colour match date window at the 3. Do appreciate that. Pop it out again, and then we can just change the time. And obviously that GMT hand will move with it as well. And then we pop it back in. As I say, push pull crown. But we've still got 100 meter water resistance as well. So it's a fairly busy dial, but I think they pulled it off. I think it works. But let me know. What do you think about it? Before we test out the sapphire and the Lume, I'll quickly show you the back of this. So this guy here, apparently, is, I'm probably going to butcher this, sorry again, Hanuman, and this is King of the Monkeys. So it's supposed to represent being a warrior and a guardian. Again, that's from Buddhism. And then other than that, we've got a few specs around the outside. So sapphire crystal, 10 ATM, stainless steel, Swiss quartz, and dual time zone. And you can probably see as well, we've actually got a nice high polish on that head. So it does look good when it catches the light. And it just contrasts nicely with that background as well. So let's test if it is actually sapphire crystal. Using the trusty down and select 2. And yep, we have got sapphire crystal. So that's always good to see. And it is actually slightly curved sapphire crystal, it's not completely flat. And we've actually got some AR on that, as you can probably tell as well. So now, let's check out what the Lume's like. So you can see we've got a little bit there already, but let's charge it up, give it a proper chance. And don't forget, this is actually a prototype, so I imagine the full production version will probably have slightly better Lume than this one. And if there are any slight issues, I'm sure they'll fix that for the final version. So, there we go. And it is actually pretty surprisingly good Lume, actually. I do like the way they've loomed that 24-hour track as well. And the fact that they separated it out and done the reverse on the top and the bottom just adds a little bit of interest. And you can also see as well, we've actually got a Lume GMT hand, the tip over here, the top by the 2. So you can actually use the GMT at night as well, which is always good. You can see those hands are glowing really brightly, slightly brighter than the indices and the rest of the dial. So they do last a little bit longer than the rest, but overall, it all lasts a really good amount of time, surprisingly. No patchiness at all, consistent across the hands and the indices. So, impressive Lume. And as I say, this is just a prototype as well, so it might be even better for the final version. So before I show you what this is like on wrist, let's talk about the pricing. So this could change before the Kickstarter is launched, but at the moment this is what the pricing is going to be. So super early bird price is going to be £210, it's about $250, about €242. Then the early bird price, £220, about $261, and that's about €253. When it comes to the RRP, it's going to be £280, $332, €323. So it's up to you whether you think that's a good pricing or not. I think if you can get in on the super early bird, you're getting a pretty good deal. Because it's a pretty unique watch. Really well made. It's got that really distinctive GMT function, that bezel. And it's just something different. It's got character. It's got some really nice design touches that I do really appreciate. But I'll show you now what it's like on wrist. So this is what it looks like on my 7-inch wrist. And it does wear really nicely. Just hugs your wrist. Really comfortable, really nice. And because there's absolutely no sharp edges anywhere on this, it's just really comfortable, really enjoyable to wear. Plenty of micro adjusts, so sizing you can get absolutely spot on. And as I say, it's just a really distinctive watch. Pretty unusual case kind of shape, kind of almost square, but that pretty distinctive bezel, that inner rotating bezel as well. The functionality of it, it's just really cool. It has grown on me quite a lot, this one. But the question is, would you be interested in picking one up? But that's it for this one, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. If you're really interested, it was quite a compliment. No issues, no issue.